Good evening, Canty. That caught me off guard. Good evening, viewers. Thank you for tuning in to the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. My name is Yolanda Gibbons, and I am the host. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for everyone that is tuning in. I am always excited to be here, to be a part of this particular show because we are educating, trying to raise awareness, and even just trying to inspire people and encourage people to live healthier lifestyles. I always like to start the show by giving a shout out to the founder and CEO, Don Doty, and of course, his partner, his spice, his wife, Miss Joyce Doty. Hello to Mr. and Mrs. Doty, and just really thank them for continuing a 20-year of involvement in really promoting health awareness and really being advocates for communities. And when I say communities, I'm talking about minority communities, urban communities, where there's oftentimes a disconnect to quality health care and just disconnect what's going on. In general. So I thank you on behalf of Chicago, Mr. Doty, for all your work, for your passion, and thanks to your board for allowing us to continue this show. We're going to get right into the conversation. I am always so honored to have phenomenal guests, and today is no different. I'm excited to have them back here to share some information with us and share some hope. The shows have been tied to the pandemic for the last couple of weeks, but hey, it's what's going on in our lives right now. It's what's going on in our city. It's what's going on in our country. And I know people want to know how other people are doing. In light of, of this pandemic and how we're holding on. And so we are connecting the topics of our show to what's going on around us because that's what we do. That's what we're here for. Today, we are going to be talking about cancer, fighting cancer, living healthy, and finding hope during this time. I was having a conversation with someone, and it was kind of like, man, we really haven't talked a lot. Cancer is usually a hot topic. We want to know what's going on. We hear about people fighting it and winning the battle, and the COVID-19 just kind of took the light of that. So we are going to be talking about it today. I want to go ahead and bring in our two phenomenal guests. First, we have Dr. Nikki. She is returning, and I'm so excited because I loved her the last time. She is the Chief Clinical Officer at Loretto Hospital. She specializes in internal medicine, and she is also the lead physician on the COVID-19 team at Loretto Hospital. So thank you again for joining us. I'm so excited. Some people talked about you after the fact, so pretty cool to have you back. I'm excited. And my second guest, some of you out there, social media may know Mr. James Dentley. He is an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a best-selling author. He is one of the well-known, sought-out motivational speakers, not just in our country, but across the world. And whether he know it or not, he is also my indirectly but directly someone I would consider a mentor. So I'm definitely excited to have him join us as well. Thank you both for being here. I want to get right into the conversation, but I first want to give each of you the opportunity just to give us a tidbit about yourselves, and then we'll get right into the topic. And we'll start with ladies first, Dr. Nikki.
Hi, I'm glad to be back, Yolanda. It's really nice to be back on your show and reach so many people. Dr. Nikhila Juvvadi. I'm an internal medicine physician and the chief clinical officer at Loretto Hospital on the west side of Chicago in Austin. I think I've said this before, but I am the youngest chief clinical officer ever there. I have always worked in safety net hospitals and on the west side of Chicago. So it's my passion. And COVID has changed a lot of things, but the hospital is still there and will always be there. So, that's what we're here for.
Appreciate that. And Mr. Dentley?
Well, first of all, I'm just kind of amazed that the sun is going down and I'm even getting darker. First and foremost, my name is Dr. James Dentley. It's always an honor to get a chance to be here with you, Ms. Givens, as well as Mr. and Mrs. Doty as well. I've got a chance to meet each and every one of you all, spend personal time with you all, be involved in some of the great work that you are doing. So it's an honor just to be here on the show. I am a business owner. I actually teach people how to start their own businesses. I actually am a speaker, and I train other speakers on how to find your voice and how to take your story and take the least amount of words and make them extremely impactful. I also run a nonprofit, Already Always Amazing, for amazing children, veterans, and seniors. And I do a lot of different things. I'm kind of like all over the place. We're about to launch our own streaming TV network as well, just helping bringing hope, awareness, education, empowerment, and entertainment out into the entire world.
Great. So we're going to get right into the conversation, and what sparked us to think about talking about cancer and specifically just learning a little bit about colon cancer, because I'm sure you guys saw the news or just heard of the passing of Chadwick Boseman. And for a lot of people, we saw him as Black Panther, a hero. But in addition to his movie character, he was really a young Black man, 43 years old. And to think that he had been fighting colon cancer for, I think I heard them say 4 years, and he lost the battle, and people were in shock. People were in shock. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity to raise some awareness, because people are now thinking about it. And I don't think we talk enough about just anything that impacts or have an effect on us and our health. So here we are. So I want to start off with Dr. Nikki with just helping us understand, just explaining, generally what is colon cancer.
Okay. First of all, I know this is not a fun topic. So that's why it doesn't get talked about much, right? Colon cancer itself evokes, all these negative emotions about why would I have that? That's not me, that sort of thing. So colon cancer is a cancer, a tumor that occurs in what we call the large intestine. It's the end of your digestive system. Includes all of your digestive system at the lower third is what I would call it. And basically any sort of tumor there it can spread to the other parts of your stomach and your abdomen in that area, but it causes different symptoms like, the way your appetite is. You might have abdominal pain. You might have a change in what we call your bowel habits. So things that you normally would not really want to talk to anybody about, which is why it's so important that conversation does happen with your physician, though, because that's the only time you're going to be talking about your bowel habits. When else would you be doing it? So that's why it's such an important conversation to have. And the thing with colon cancer is, since it's in a place that you can't necessarily tell, you won't, sometimes, unless you're talking about it, unless you're thinking about it and getting screened for it, you're not going to know it's there. So by the time you do find out it's there, it's in different areas of your body already causing many other issues. So that's why screening for colon cancer is extremely important.
Okay. So who's at risk?
Okay. So this part is, let's just say we're still finding out, but there's some definitive facts as to who's at risk. Okay. There's people of a certain age, right? So they say that anybody above the age of 50 is more inclined to have colon cancer. But as we saw with Chadwick Boseman, that's not necessarily always the case. There's people with obesity. That means, overweight. They say those people are more inclined to have it. The other thing is family history, and that plays a huge part, okay? So when you're talking to your aunts and your uncles and your grandparents about all the stories, you also have to get a history and know what's going on with their health, their physical health too. So if they have it, siblings have it, parents have it, grandparents have it, that causes you to have an increased risk for colon cancer. And the biggest thing for me that I've been thinking about much more lately, but also it just strikes me with the statistics, is race. So a lot of things, when you hear about them, people say that, oh, race is affected. But with colon cancer in the African American community, they have the highest, what we call, incidence of colon cancer. So just by being African American, your chance of getting colon cancer is already higher. It's 20% higher than a white person to get colon cancer. 20% higher. And then they have the highest rate to get it. So some of those are the things, even things like diabetes, they affect your chance of getting colon cancer, giving you a higher risk.
So, okay. So Dr. Dentley, hearing her talk about the risks in the African-American community, which we always, I don't get it. We always hear about it. What comes to mind? What's your response?
First and foremost is that as a society, we have to really be vested in taking our annual physicals. I think it begins there. So many people put it off, and for so many reasons. And I remember for years I would put it off because maybe I didn't have insurance at that moment. But there's other places that you can go. I got my first colonoscopy when I turned 50, and then again 5 years later, and then 5 years later. And I pretty much stay on top of that. But after hearing about Chadwick and what happened, I'm thinking, well, I need to inform my children. I say, well, you don't want to wait till you're 50 years old. You don't want to wait till you're 40 years old. Just get that included in your annual physical and take that very seriously, because if it can be caught early or detected early, then you have a greater chance of pulling through that. I'm a survivor of prostate cancer, but they're all serious. They're all serious, and they're both very prevalent and very something you find a lot in the African American community.
Right. So, Dr. Nikki, what are some of the signs or symptoms?
So, like I said, symptoms would be things like, pain in your stomach area. The other thing is, blood in your stool. You might brush it off, but don't brush it off ever. Whatever color it might be, whatever. Don't ever brush off blood in your stool. Then there's also feeling bloated, having gas all the time. Sometimes you think that, hey, that's okay, but you need to have that conversation and a change in your bowel habits. So if people come to me all the time and they say, oh, I'm constipated. The question I always ask them is that normal for you? If you've always done that, that's fine. If you had a change in that, that's a problem. Just being tired all the time, okay? You could have a blood loss going on in a place in a way that you don't know of. So that causes you to be tired. If I could just touch on something that Dr. Bentley just said, not having insurance is not something that you need to worry about when it comes to colon cancer screening. You said, there are places, including Loretto, where we don't care what insurance you have. We will take care of you. So let me say one more thing about the screening, though. There's different types of screening, different ways you can do it. And there's people who think immediately, oh, I'm not getting that colonoscopy. Nobody's coming anywhere near me with that. But that's not the only way to get screened. That's what the misconception is. There are other ways to what we call screening. Screening, by the way, just to make it very clear, is a way to figure out whether you even have it, meaning prevent it. So if you do it once, for example, a colonoscopy, you don't necessarily have to do it again for 10 years. But there's other ways to do a screening, which I can go into if you want. But the point is that the best screening test you can do is the one that you're going to do. So not doing one is not the right answer. There's plenty of other ways. And that conversation, as Dr. Bentley said, has to happen in your physical, and it has to be what we call shared decision making. So yes, the United States Preventive Task Force recommends, only 50 years and onwards. But that's an individual conversation, like Chadwick Boseman. He felt some symptoms. I don't know the details, but I'm assuming he did. And then he went and got checked. He was 39. It's okay to have that conversation saying, I think I might have symptoms of this, or I might have a family history or risk factors, and I want to get it tested beforehand. That's fine.
Okay. So it's a lot going on. Have you seen, and then I want to ask Dr. Dentley a question, but Dr. Nikki, real quick, has there been a difference just in cancer patients? Have you seen that at all during this time, during the pandemic? Are there less resources? Or are there challenges getting, the care? Have you seen any of that at all?
I think that's been my biggest issue. Just seeing the number of people not coming in, not coming to get their screenings, not coming to have those visits, because we've seen a major decline in those who are coming to get, whether it's colon cancer screening or any other type of screening. And I'm just worried what the effects of that are going to be, because what happens when they actually get sick and then they come in, then we find the cancer and then we're too late. We don't want that to happen. So, whether we're calling people for mammograms or we're calling people to come and get their colonoscopy, there's safe ways to do it now. We can get COVID testing done prior. We can have the right material, the right personal protective equipment to get that test done for you. So I just recommend coming to the hospital, even though it seems like a scary thing to do.
Okay. Definitely we need to make sure that we're getting physicals, getting tested, getting screened. I want to ask Dr. Dentley for our viewers, because, I almost got emotional today thinking about it. We have been in this pandemic for a long time. I had a conversation with my sister, and she was just saying, like, people say she grouchy or irritated. And I'm like, we are all probably a little bit grouchy and irritated, and probably need to check in on our mindset and how we are emotionally. Just thinking about it, really, it could tear you up, because it's been a lot. What do you say to us about how do we find hope in all of this?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, anytime there's a calamity, there's always great opportunity. I believe it's just really where you're looking. It's like Job said, the things I have feared have come upon me. So whatever you're focusing on is what you really kind of manifest. So I would say, first and foremost, every single day when you wake up out of the bed, you set your sights on what is your purpose? What are you really doing? You see, when a person has no purpose, then they're kind of wandering. They kind of become victimized by the wind. Jim Rohn said it best: "It's never the blowing of the wind; it's the set of the sail. The wind blows on us all." So people are outwardly driven instead of internally driven. So make a choice every single morning of who you're going to be. Choose to be happy. Choose to lighten the load, because only thing we can control is how we're going to respond to everything that comes our way. And if you respond appropriately and take the other path, then you'll find you'll get through your day pretty happy, and you'll see opportunities when everybody else sees calamity. I would say the second thing is to ask yourself better questions. Don't make statements of doom and gloom, like how bad it is or I can't afford this. No, you ask yourself a question: how can I do this? You can create your own reality. You can create money. You can create whatever it is that you want. Will it happen overnight? Most of the time, never. But you can create it and you can control that. So choose to be inner directed versus outer directed. That means you set your sights. So write down, what is your purpose? What do you want? Why are you here? And if you can't figure it out, ask some questions to people that are real close to you, that know you. What are you really good at? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Sometimes if you're around other people who are positive and having a ton of fun, and they always have a very a light attitude about things, it's really much infectious. So it really comes down to who you're spending your time around and where you're setting your mind each and every day.
Okay, you guys heard that. We got to change. When we wake up in the morning, we have to choose to be happy, find some positive outcomes or things to focus on and set some goals. I want to go back to Dr. Nikki for a second to ask her, what can we do to decrease the risk? What can the African American community or anyone do to decrease the risk?
So again, we're still doing a lot of what we call research in that category. But one thing we know, a few things we do know for sure. One is obesity. Okay, so when we talk about obesity, we're saying if you're above the weight that's normal for your age and your height, and so it causes, we don't know the exact mechanism because we don't, but we do realize that the more overweight you are, the more risk you have for colon cancer. Then also the way to reduce that risk is diet and exercise, right? So with diet, you have to eat a high fiber diet. When people say high fiber, we're talking about lentils, oats, things, with high fiber in them. Then we've got to make sure that we're not eating bad fat. So what we call omega-3 fatty acids, like that's in fish, that's good for you. So that's what you should eat. Leafy vegetables, those are what you should be eating. And then we've got exercise, at least 30 minutes a day, at least 3 times a week at the minimum is what's recommended. So those are shown and proven to reduce your risk for colon cancer, not just for colon cancer, but definitely for colon cancer. The other thing that's a big issue with colon cancer is smoking. You wouldn't think, right, that you would think lung cancer, but colon cancer is a big deal with smoking. So reducing smoking, quitting smoking really helps with that. And just overall, not drinking too much alcohol. If you're going to drink, 1 drink per female, 2 for males is the max. And just to make everybody also aware, males have a higher risk for colon cancer than females. It's the number 3 cancer that males are diagnosed with, and the number 2 females. But males have a very high risk for colon cancer compared to women. So it's something that, so their diet, their exercise, making sure they don't smoke, not drinking alcohol, that really helps.
Okay. Dr. Dentley, I know that you are also one who is an advocate for healthy living. What can you share about how we can do that, or resources, or just your thoughts about that? Because I know you have a lot to say on the topic as well.
Well, absolutely. I talk about it almost every day of my life to different individuals and groups of people as well. And, the journey for me began many years ago. I was on prednisone for a long time with sarcoidosis and couldn't find a way to get away from that steroid. I actually went to a place outside of Sacramento, California, called Bella Vita, and I lived there for 10 days to learn how to eat better, but also learn how to get more spiritually centered. What is God saying about it? How do you align all these things together? I believe they all have to come together at some point. And I lived there and I learned so much because, literally getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, learning different ways to detox the body, learning what foods do to the body, learning the history of natural remedies and where all these things came from and why they're not more prevalent out into society. And I tell you, I came away with a couple of things. Number one, you got to see your physician, and you got to have your annual physical, because then at least you'll know what's going on and get an idea. Number two is that the things that go out of the earth are very, very powerful. I represent a company called Total Life Changes, as you know, and we have this amazing organic detox tea. And I'll tell you, with that tea, with the NutriBurst, a plant-based vitamin that I believe in, and with the Ganoderma and Chaga, these medicinal mushrooms growing right out of the earth, not only did I lose over 120 pounds, but I've been off of prednisone now for over 6 years. And then 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. It's pretty serious. My PSA was 62. Now it's high at 6. And I go to the doctor at 62. They feel like it's outside of the prostate into the lymph nodes. They wanted me to either have surgery or have chemotherapy. I didn't want to do either one of those. So I opted to do radiation. They wanted me to go 45 treatments. I said, I'll give you 25. and let me try some of my natural stuff and let's see what happens. And now my PSA is -0.1. I have no side effects. I function very well. And I've been cancer free for 3 years. And that's a blessing. So understanding there are things that you can get that are natural that can make a big difference in your body. And I'm not giving medical claims, but I will say that they will really help. So I always tell people, if you have been diagnosed with something, to Google Ganoderma. It's a mushroom. It's a reishi mushroom or chaga, which is also a mushroom. Just Google it and do your due diligence yourself. You can take it to your doctor if you want, but do your due diligence and just see what it says. I had a gentleman in my home the other day. He has Crohn's, and it was pretty severe, and his wife was very concerned. I said, well, just Google it. And she got so excited when she says, oh, this can be quite helpful with that. So I'm not saying it's going to cure anything. I don't know that much. But I'll tell you that if you invest in putting healthy things in your body that can combat or build up your immune system to fight these things, then it gives you a great head start. It can be a really good boost for people to remain healthy and get it back if you already lost it.
Right. Okay. That's definitely some good information. You guys, hope you're out there listening. This is the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. We are talking about fighting cancer, living healthy, and finding hope during this pandemic. Dr. Nikki, talking to I want to ask Dr. Nikki, for those who, as they go see their primary care physician, and with you being a primary, if you were my primary care physician, I heard you mention genetics, and maybe if someone we lost her. We lost Dr. Nikki. So hopefully she'll be able to jump back on since she's not here. Then we'll continue to talk. Oh, there she is. She's back. Yes.
Technical difficulties.
So I was asking a question because sometime I know that I heard you talk about it. Some genetics may have a role in, and I've heard that not just with colon cancer, but just in cancer in general. And sometimes, thinking about myself, we go to the doctor, we just have our physical checkup, the regular stuff. How would you coach us to be better advocates for ourselves as a patient? And because a lot of times, if we're not sickly, like I see my doctor once, anything that goes on with my body, I kind of brush it off, So how would you coach us to be better advocates for ourselves?
Actually, that's the perfect question to ask. I don't know if you should ask me as a doctor because I'm a horrible patient, but but in general, I tell my patients to have a conversation, right? So if you have that relationship, when I'm asking you questions as a doctor, you're going to notice that some of us are very involved in just finishing whatever we're doing on the computer. But what we're doing on the computer is trying to actively listen to you while making sure that everything is getting done. So use that time to say, hey, doc, I had this pinch 3 months ago. It's okay. It's okay to ask those type of questions. But the main thing is advocate for yourself by talking about your lifestyle as a whole. When you go to your primary care physician, it's not purely, I'm here because I have a pain. Fine, we'll take care of that. But tell me about everything else. Tell me what you're eating. Tell me what exercise you're doing. Tell me that your aunt has the cancer. Tell me how you're feeling. Are you sleeping well? Are you anxious? Are you, what's going on with your life? I know I'm not your friend, but think of me as the one person that you would talk to about all this and is actually willing to be like, okay, that's something I do need to know and something I don't need to know. And don't be offended if we're saying, okay, thank you very much, miss, but we're okay. We're just trying to get to the points of the conversation that we want to make sure that we have. So always talk about it. Always say, and we like to celebrate the wins too, right? So if you're smoking and we want to go, you went from 10 to 3, great, wonderful. I always have those great conversations. It's something we want to hear. So being truthful is extremely important. Being truthful to yourself, being truthful to you, to the doctor, to everybody. Just be truthful. It's that think of it as your sanctum, and this is where I can talk about it. So
Okay, so really being an advocate, opening up your mouth, speaking, sharing, and not just going in there and kind of doing the routine, having a conversation. I think that's important, because I don't think we think to build a relationship with our primary care, because most we send them once a year. But you just said something that's very important, that it's not just the doctor's responsibility to ask me the questions. It's my responsibility to ask the doctor, my primary care physician, the right questions, and let him or her know what's going on with me. Thus, she can or he can address what's going on. I never even thought, saw it like that. So that's going to change when I go in there. Even though I can talk a lot, but that definitely, I don't think we really think about it in that way. And that's a very, very good tip, just to go in there and have a conversation and build.
I'm going to talk to you about your bowel habits. I mean, like, we're not going to do that. So something, it's important. And, the other thing I do want to mention, it's my kind of responsibility to mention, I come from, my heritage, I come from an Indian heritage. So I'm very aware of, natural remedies and Ayurveda and things like that. That's absolutely all right. Let's just make sure you also include that in your discussion with your doctor, so he doesn't interact with anything. But other than that, Dr. Dentley's completely right about being able to advocate for yourself in more ways than one. So that's also a way of advocating for yourself. Right.
Okay. I want to go back to Dr. Dentley for a little bit, and really the both of you, and just talking about, as we talk about finding hope. Stress, we talk about being under stress, and how those of us that are not a medical professional talk about how stress causes this or make you sick. And I could see that during this time, how stress could be real heavy on a lot of people, financially, just being, some people are at home alone. I want to go to Dr. Dentley, though, to talk about, because finances plays a huge role in, people don't maybe connect the dots, but I want to just say our health, And I know that you always have opportunities, and you are a very successful entrepreneur. So I know that you definitely will have some resources or information to share with the viewers that could possibly help them with some of the stresses as it relates to finances right now.
Yeah, absolutely. First, let me just say that I want to thank, I'm really thankful that I'm here with Dr. Nikki, just hearing her. And for everyone who's listening, just to hear her in her voice, you can see the sincerity and that sharing, but also the knowledge as well. If you have someone like that you can reach out to, hear from, and know where they are, then you definitely want to go there, because it's really about making a difference. Because other people, you look at COVID-19, 190,000 people have left here because of it, but that's 190,000 families, friends, and people who cared about them that are still here and affected by that. So the decisions we make are not just about us, they're about other people as well. So just keep that in mind. And I always tell people, Yolanda, that your success can be someone else's miracle. For me, I was homeless, living in a car. I started businesses, some worked and some of them bombed, going up and down. But the first thing I understood, that failure was not my identity. It was simply an event. And if I learn from that failure and keep going and make myself better and read and listen, get around people who are making it happen, find people who are, and ask myself a question, where are the people at that are doing some really incredible things? Where are they? And you can go to Google and find that as well. And when you do that, then you can just get in the right network of people that you can grow and you can flourish in your time. Now, we have opportunities for people to work from home. And I've trained over 1 million people in my career throughout different parts of the world. When you look at what's happening right now, it's not just in the United States, it is global right now. Everyone's being impacted around the world. Nobody's getting out of this. So first thing you have to understand is that you are a creator. There is a way out. Second thing is that you have to learn and you have to grow. Now, with our company, Total Life Changes, and the work that I do in my personal company as well, we offer people an opportunity to start their own home-based business. And through a home-based business, that means you can be in business for yourself, but not be in business by yourself, without the financial risk of trying to invest everything, and sometimes you don't even have it. But how do you get the priceless information, the priceless relationships that you need to help yourself flourish and to take your personal gifts and bring them out to the world? Because everyone has a gift, everyone has a purpose, and it's really about just the way that we're thinking. You know, Carter G. Woodson once said that once you understand how a man or woman would think, you don't have to worry about what they would do. So it's already set up. So it begins with the way that you're thinking. Everything in life happens twice: the inner, the outer, the thought, the thing, the mental, and then the physical. So when you call into the station, or you can reach out to Yolanda Givens herself through the station, she knows how to plug people directly into our network. And we can have that conversation with you and help you get on path and purpose if it's a great fit for you, because we would teach you some things you're never going to get taught in school. I was able to retire in January 13th of 1995 because someone taught me. So I'm not the genius. I just teach what people who make billions of dollars teach me, and I pass it on. And those who listen, they'll be better for it. Because again, your success can be someone else's miracle. And when we choose not to try, then somebody else loses because of that. So you can reach out to the network, reach out to the station. We can get you more information. We get you some samples of some of the things that we're doing. But we teach people how to become super healthy in their body, in their spirit, and in their bank account. And that's important more than ever now, because right now we have to get back to creating. And I will promise you this one thing, that you can create your own reality and you can create income. You can find out whatever you do good. We can show you how to package that and how you create that by bringing value, because you only need to do two things. You have to solve a problem. You have to fill a need. So we'll teach you how to do that and have a lot of fun in the process. And hope, well, hope is only, see, when people lose hope, it's just that they feel for some reason that the darkness is there and the light won't return. Once you understand the light will return, then hope will grow abound inside of you, and hope never disappoints. So it's really about taking that seed of greatness and possibility that lives in all of us and planting that seed in the right environment. And when you do that, when you plant grass seeds, you don't know what's happening underneath the ground, but you're very hopeful that the grass will come upward, and it's going to come up every single spring. And it happens just in the grass. It happens for everything that lives, because we're made up of the same composition of the universe. So don't worry about it. Just hope for a better future. Write it out. You can tell the future if you're willing to write it.
Right. I love that. I know the viewers, you guys are loving the information and the tips and tidbits that are being shared. Dr. Nikki, what resources are available at Loretto Hospital? Let's share some resources for the Chicago residents that's available to them.
Sure. So you brought up a point earlier about finances and the pandemic, things like that. So, for example, we have what we call a GI specialist, a gastroenterologist, multiple of them actually, who can really take you through the screening of colon cancer. Everything from explaining it to you to actually performing it, whether it's a colonoscopy or what we call a stool test or anything else. So we have what we call same-day appointments. You just call the number that's right at the bottom, 833-TLH-HEAL. You don't have to worry about insurance. You don't have to worry about timing. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, available for any of that. So we have those resources not only for colon cancer. We have them for everything from mammograms to cervical cancer screening, which is pap smears. We have lung cancer screening with a chest CT. So all of that is possible, and you can just walk in and just you don't even have to have an appointment. Just walk in, call the number. No worries about your insurance. We're a safety net hospital. We take care of every single person. To give you an example, so I had a patient recently this summer who came to me for the first time, and he said that he had just lost his job. And I was like, oh, okay. So he had lost his job, and he decided that was the time he was going to take care of his health. So he visited the primary care doctor, me, for the first time in, 10 years or so on. So we went through the list of everything that for his age he needed to do. He got through all the appointments. We didn't care about what was going on with his insurance, his job, nothing. We just went through all of it. We worked on his medications. We worked on his smoking. He got a colonoscopy. He did. He was not enthused about it, but he got the colonoscopy. He found polyps. Now, they were what we call benign. That means they weren't cancerous.
Right.
But now, because we found the polyps, he has to get it a little bit more often than he would normally get. But he's relieved, to know that he has them. And so when we talk about Chadwick Boseman, we don't want to get to the point where we're only having this conversation because somebody that great and wonderful passed away, right? You want look at the person who came into my office after he lost his job is just an example. And I think what Dr. Dentley said about your success is somebody else's miracle. Technically, your endeavor to get better health, you tell that to somebody else. You say that to somebody else in your family and say, I did this and this is what they found. Your story will lead somebody else to come in to save themselves. So I think it kind of ties in, and I just want everybody to understand that no matter what your circumstances, first of all, Loretto is there for you, but also it doesn't matter. You can and will find a way to get what you need to do for your health.
Wow. Okay. I want to ask you both, and this is probably kind of a funny question, but I'm thinking about the folks that are watching, and my sister and I was just talking about that. You as a physician and you, Dr. Dentley, just being a mature age. So is there like when you reach a certain age, 45, 50, that you really have to be more aware of what's going on with your body and possibly even make some lifestyle changes?
Yeah.
And either one of you can just jump in with that.
I'm going to let him go first. More experience.
Well, first of all, thank you for calling me old.
Old, mature.
I'm 62. I'm 62. And I'll tell you, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things that Dr. Nikki said was so powerful, because I train speakers for a living, and it doesn't matter as an individual, whether it's with your health or just in living, it's really about your story. And we all have a story. We all create a story every single day. The question is, where is it taking us? And sometimes we don't believe that our story matters. So I'll tell you this, that when Dr. Nikki just said that, look, I've had a colonoscopy, it wasn't that bad. But then again, I like to get shots. I got a shot in the stem in my knee this morning. And it didn't hurt at all. So, I think it's really a mental thing. And when you get past, it's not really that bad. What is the alternative? Is a lot worse. I'd rather know than not know. It wasn't bad at all. You just go through it and you're done. And then you kind of get the best sleep of your life, or twilight sleep. So it's the best thing in the world for me, because you get a chance to rest and chill out. And I always tell people, what if I don't wake up? Well, I go to bed every night. If I don't wake up, I don't even know. I don't even worry about that. I think it's really coming down to right now, as we look at what's happening in this country. We look at what's happening in this country. This is a great opportunity, but a lot of people can't see it because of where they're focused. So you have to focus on the things you want and not the things that you don't want. In other words, focus on the things above your head, not those things below your feet. You can't do anything about some of these things. But when you look at your health, start moving, because when you move, you're going to help move yourself from depression into a positive state of mind. It's all about how you hold your body. You hold your body erect. You smile more. You won't be depressed. You smile, hold your body up straight. You run. You're not going to run and cry, oh, boo-hoo, unless somebody's chasing you with a knife, maybe. But that would be fear taking over. Your body, move it the best you possibly can. Changing the way you eat is always a challenge for everyone. But I'll tell you, if you contact the station, we'll send you out a free sample of some things that are all natural, they're organic, has nothing to do. Keep going to your doctor. But I promise you, these things will give you a great head start, and they're documented things, because of the herbs and the ingredients that are in them are all natural with none of that crap in them. So when you start getting a head start, you feel a little bit better about yourself, and then get some great support. You want to run with people who want to run with you, man, and create your great story, because it's really about storytelling. The story of somebody, when I lost 120 pounds, that's a story.
Yeah.
That's a story.
Yeah.
That's the story that I share. I showed the before and after pictures all the time and said, oh my goodness, was that you? Yeah, that was me. You get through cancer. That's a story, because those stories stories will bring people hope.
Hope.
And this
Yeah.
hope, the stories give you a sense of purpose that you have made a difference in the lives of somebody else, because not what you've been through, but what you've gone through, but what you grew through, what
Right.
you've come through. And I think that's really the key, is to go out there and live your life. And if it's a mess, that's okay. Clean it up. Clean it up. And when you clean it up, just like a house, it feels better, you feel better. And then you can write a new chapter.
Right.
Just take all that negative stuff and end it at chapter 8. And chapter 9, you start anew with a new purpose, a new promise, because you are the author of your own story and your life and your book. So write it well, but get checked out and take that very seriously, because if you don't do it, then people around you, your kids, your other family members, they won't do it as well. So step in there and be courageous. Walk in there and say, wow, you realize it's like getting on a roller coaster when you're a little kid. It wasn't so bad. You might want to go again. Maybe not for a colonoscopy, but go again.
Yeah. So what do you say to that question, Dr. Nikki?
I think everything that he said is true. From a lifestyle change point of view, it's almost, you don't want it to be a wake-up call moment. You want it to be almost a natural progression. So basically, it could be something really small. Just wake up 5 minutes earlier, go outside, feel the fresh air. That's something that's different for you. Basically try a little bit of that salad next time. Make a smoothie, maybe. Just think of it as a fun project. Like, think of it, hey, it's a pandemic. Instead of making sourdough bread, I'm going to make a smoothie. But don't ever let the fact that we're going through all this stress and anxiety keep you from understanding that you're still progressing. Life, time is still moving, right? So if time is still moving, you still have to move along with it.
Yes. Okay.
Sometimes you don't feel that, feel like great about it. Sometimes you don't want to do it, but start with something small. Something small could be as small as watching this report right now, right? If we inspire one person to make a tiny little bit of change, and that person tells the next person, and then they tell the next person that, hey, actually try this salad, or actually try this recipe. Let's put a little bit less sugar and stuff. Let's put a little bit less oil, things like that. That's enough. Tell your story, talk about it, be positive, and visit your doctor. So, yeah.
Wow, right. All great things that we oftentimes forget. I love that you said something simple as getting up 5 minutes early and just going outside. Get some fresh air before you begin, your crazy day, so to speak. And I love Dr. Dentley talking about just moving, just getting your body to moving around. And both of you are just really in sync on helping and sharing information on how we could do small things, to begin to live much healthier lives, to get our mindset and physically our bodies right. And I think we always try to go big first, in terms of like losing weight. Like, instead of saying I'm going to lose 5 pounds, in a month, we go, I'm trying to lose 50. And then when it doesn't happen, we're defeated. And we don't want to try again. So I love that you both are sharing great information, but also just some simple things for people to think and kind of revive the way they think about being healthy and living healthy and trying to better themselves across the board, for themselves, for their families, for the community, which is, part of what this show is about, is raising awareness on how we in our communities could just live healthier, and how we can tap into some of the resources at like Loretto Hospital, because so many people think if they don't have insurance, they can't go anywhere. So they try to figure it out, or they ignore it. And it's important to know that there are resources out there. You can get screened for free for some things, and you just gotta reach out. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really look for those resources, because they are available, for our physical, mental, and even for our financial well-being. And that's important. And I love what you guys have shared today. And we're coming close to the end, I want to thank you both. Loretto Hospital is becoming like one of Georgia Doty's sponsors, and we're so excited about the partnership and the relationship. And I'm probably gonna be calling Dr. Nikki all the time. Come back, because I love the way you as a doctor really make it simple, and you definitely have a connection with the community, which is very important. It's definitely very important, especially in minority communities and communities that don't have access to quality health care. And of course, Dr. Dentley is a Chicagoan, and he is a success story, and just being for people to being able to connect with him as being an African American man from Chicago, have lived, he mentioned being homeless, and was able to somehow figure it all out, and life is vibrant, and he's living healthy, and he's successful. And it's important for folks to hear that, and be able to tap into those resources. Before we end, and I'll close out with a few announcements, I just want to give each of you an opportunity for some final words to our viewers, and we'll start with ladies first, Dr. Nikki.
Okay, well, thank you for that. That was really sweet of you. So I think the final thing, going back to cancer and going back to colon cancer, because it's such an important topic, don't be afraid. Definitely get screened. There are options for you, whether you want to think about a colonoscopy or not. There are other options for you. Colonoscopies, for example, prevent 20 to 25 deaths for 1,000 people. So if 1,000 people get screened for colon cancer, prevents 20 to 25 of those people from dying in their lifetime. So that's a big deal. So, don't be scared about that. But it's not just the colon cancer. Cancer in general is a scary thing. Nobody wants to be in that position where you find out that it's spread, or that you need to get chemotherapy or radiation or surgery. So the best way to prevent anything is to screen. So whether it's a pap smear, a mammogram, lung cancer screening, prostate cancer screening, just go ahead, have that conversation, go ahead and get it. Don't wait, walk in. Loretto's here for you. Just walk straight in and we'll get you whatever you need. And the other thing is, I want to always mention that during this pandemic, mental health is a big thing. So if part of what's preventing you from taking care of your physical health is your mental health, getting that conversation going with your doctor. And at Loretto, we just call the TLH Heal number. We have mental health services. Again, don't care about your insurance. You can just come in and we'll take care of that for you. Because if that's a barrier for you to get your physical health taken care of, that's something that we can definitely take care of too. So
wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. And thank you for just being able to connect to the community and being able to share information in a manner in which we can understand and really be able to relate to. Definitely, I look forward to having you back. The organization looks forward to a great partnership and just some collaboration and continuously getting the word out and continuously promoting healthy living. We're going to bring Dr. Dentley back for his final words before we close out. And thank you. Dr. Dentley has also been a longtime sponsor and supporter of Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Organization, making contributions to the organization as well. So on behalf of the organization, definitely thank you for always being a supporter of the organization. But final words to our viewers.
Well, hopefully Dr. Nikki is still listening in, hopefully. I've got a couple of things. Number one, I remember meeting Don Doty for the very first time. I went there to talk about something quite different and heard his message. And from that moment, I didn't even know him. He really didn't know me, but I sent someone back in there with a donation. So the first thing I would like to do is this. For anyone who's watching this broadcast, we'd like to send you out a free sample of our amazing organic detox tea. It'll make you feel a lot better. Some people lose 5 pounds in 5 days just by getting the sludge out of their body. We're going to send you out a package of product free, courtesy of Mr. Doty and Ms. Givens, who are their very dear friends and people I have a tremendous amount of respect for. The second thing is that for Dr. Nikki, if you happen to have about another, yes, seven families that have children under the age of 17 that may be going through some challenging times right now when it comes to putting food on the table. We have some things put to the side that we want to help X amount of families, and by giving them food. We're gonna supply breakfast and lunch, and really good breakfast, really good lunch, and we're gonna help get them up and running and hopefully take some of the stress from that. So if you know anyone that comes to your clinic, please reach out to us. And for Ms. Givens, please let Mr. Doty know that we'll make a donation of $2,000 back to his organization, and we'll do that tomorrow morning or the day after, whenever I see you guys, and we'll get that out right away. And just continue to do great work. We're very blessed to be a blessing. And it's our desire to help uplift as many people as we want, because collaboration, we're all here together, and a rising tide floats all boats. We do it together. We don't have to be separate. We can do it together, and we can create the stories and help tell those stories that will impact and inspire people throughout the world, because your life matters. And we want to make sure that people know about you, what's going on in your life, and that you matter. You do matter. So I usually end with a poem. I'll just say, follow your dreams wherever they may lead, and never get distracted by less worthy deeds. Shelter them and nourish them and help them to grow. Let your heart hold them down deep where dreams go. You follow your dreams, you pursue them with haste. Remember your life is too precious and it's too fleeting to waste. So be faithful, be loyal, and then all your days through, the dreams that you follow will always come true. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Man, how exciting is this? The connection and the collaboration. I definitely love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Dentley, for just being a part of the show, and hey, for this contribution, this check that the organization will get in the morning. Such a blessing. And
I want to stick it to none, I like to make them excited.
Being able to bless 7 families and help them in this time of need with definitely some food and putting some meals on the table for them. That is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. So this is the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. I am Yolanda Givens. I've been your host. I'm always excited about it. I don't want to end the show because it's always great information, and it's so important that we get the information out there. We get it out there. Man, this has just been a great show. I just want to, reiterate and thank Dr. Nikki and Loretto Hospital for their support, coming on board and just collaborating with the organization and reminding us that there are resources. Loretto Hospital, they're on the west side. Get there, get screened. Don't even worry about insurance, not having insurance. Go there. She is the chief clinical doctor over there. So thank you so much, Dr. Nikki, for just being a part of the show again and sharing the information. We are definitely going to make sure that we continue to collaborate and continue to inform people about Loretto Hospital and the great resources that are there. And of course, Dr. Dentley, we thank you. I am definitely going to be sharing all of this information, on my Facebook page. Dr. Dentley said that he will send out free samples. So hit me up. Follow me on Instagram. Look for me on Facebook, Yolanda Givens. If you are watching right now, comment down there and I will make sure that you get your free sample, and, it may change the direction of your life. Who knows? Or someone close to you. If you would like more information about Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Organization, go to georgiadotyhealth.com. The organization is having an event on this Saturday, September 12th, I believe, from 1 to 4 p.m. And they're going to be doing some presentations on sickle cell, hepatitis C, and it's an opportunity to meet the team of the Georgia Doty organization, as well as they're going to be giving out free masks and gloves, and there's going to be refreshments. It's going to be held at the Seashells Yacht Club, an opportunity to get out, be in the fresh air. I'm sure the event is going to take all safety precautions. I also want to share information about Loretto Hospital. I believe we have a promo flyer for Loretto Hospital. It's some information there with all of the services that they provide. Make sure you get that phone number. Go to the website, lorettohospital.org, reach out, make the call, inquire about the resources that are available. So we definitely thank them for just sharing and letting it be known that insurance is not a reason to not go see the doctor. And finally, Dr. Dentley, I know for those of you who may be looking for some opportunities for you entrepreneurs out there, want to be aspiring entrepreneurs, Dr. Dentley hosts an entrepreneur forum. Go to chicagoeforum.com. The next one is this Thursday night. Reach out to me. I'll definitely give you that information. So that's what we are about, sharing information so that our communities, our homes, our lives are just living healthy. Living healthy, living our purpose, living our dreams, living out our destiny, and leaving a legacy. I thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll be back 2 weeks from now. In the meantime, share the link. Tell somebody about the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, did I give a shout out to CPS? I don't know if I did, but I definitely wanted to give a shout out to Chicago Public Schools, the teachers, the parents, the students, the administrators, the staff. They started their first day. It's the new norm, and we just do sending out well wishes that all will go well, and at some point, our children will be able to return to the building. Thank you all. Have a great night. See you next time.